Welcome, real people, real conversations. This is your host, Lori, speaking. Let's get this conversation started. Okay, so this is a continuation from the conversation that I had with Donna just a couple of days ago about immigration. She had brought up her husband and his experience and what's been happening in his job. So I wanted to bring him on, and this way he can clarify it and explain a little bit more what's happening with him. So hang on just one second. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Hi, Lori.
How are you?
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I wanted you to explain the situation. Well, I wanted you to explain how illegal immigration is affecting your everyday life as far as when you go to work, what's been happening. I think it's very important for you to get that message out there because there probably are people that are home that are experiencing it, but the people that aren't, maybe we can just shed some light on this. I thought your point that you brought up, I know we spoke earlier before right now that I'm taping it, I think it's an important message to get out there.
Well, I lived in New York. I moved to Florida. And when I got a job in Florida, I started to, as a supervisor for an elevator company, I started experiencing different areas and started going down to Miami. That was my first experience with illegal immigration. And let me explain something what I think illegal immigration. When I go to a job and you cannot speak English at all, I'm a gambling guy. I could be wrong, but chances are I'll bet my money on that you're an illegal immigrant if you can't speak a word of English. Okay? So these jobs I used to go down to in Miami, I go to a job, and the elevator guys are the last people that speak English. There's plumbers and sheetrockers and tin knockers and all kinds of tradesmen. They're all Mexican descent. They all speak the language. They have Mexican music playing to the point that I had to, for my job, I had to spray stuff on walls because I couldn't communicate with the electrician to tell him where to place lights. I had to actually spray the paint, spray where everything goes on the wall because there was no communication. That's how it all started. I started talking to this electrician, and 20 minutes later, he looked at me and said, "You don't speak English." So
oh, wow.
I was like, I wasted my time, and that was my first awakening down in South Miami. So shortly after that, every job that I would go on, okay, there's no Americans doing construction work anymore. The elevator trade, at least in Florida, are the last holdouts. There's only one person who speaks a bilingual language, and the rest, everybody is Spanish. So all you hear is Spanish music, Spanish people talking, Spanish orders given around. There is no Americans doing. These are jobs that are high-paying union jobs. I mean, these are jobs that people get paid over $100,000 a year, and now they don't have those jobs anymore.
And where are the people getting this experience to even do what they're doing?
Who knows? It's usually, what I have seen is a lot of them don't know what they're doing. Okay, they have one electrician who goes to show, tells them what to do, and they just do it. As a matter of fact, it's kind of scary, us in the elevator trade, we have to show electricians how to do certain things, and we're like, oh my God, you guys are electricians and you don't know how to do this? And these are the people putting up, 10, 20, 30-story buildings in Miami and wiring them up. And a lot of them don't know what they're doing. I mean, they came from a country that their building codes are not subpar to our building codes. They're used to doing things their own way. And now they come to this country either not knowing the trade at all or knowing only the way they did it in another country.
Wow. So do you feel that they're taking the place of like American workers? They're taking over the jobs, the industries now in the construction?
There's no question about that. That's not an if. There is no more American plumbers and sheetrockers on the job. Every construction job, and not only in Miami now, it went up to Broward County, and then it's in Jupiter.
Wow.
All the way up to, I can't speak for all the way North Florida, but I can speak, 3/4 of the way up the state. There are no more English-speaking construction workers except elevators.
So it's almost as if you feel like a minority.
Oh, we are a minority. We go to a job, and anytime I have to speak to somebody, I have to get a translator. They come up to me and they automatically think I speak Spanish. I go, no, speak Spanish, and they have to go get a translator. I mean, the elevator trade is a very specialized trade. There's a lot of training involved, so maybe that's how they haven't broken through it. You need to know what you're doing. You can't have somebody directing you like a one master electrician and telling you to go around putting all these outlets in, say, for instance. So the elevator trade is very specialized. So maybe that's the reason they haven't broken through it yet. But it'll be coming. It'll be coming. All the jobs are gone. And I spoke to people in New York, and it seems to be happening there too. So I'm assuming it's happening all over because it's happening in New York. They say that the same thing's happening there. It's crazy. We're losing our country. We're losing our jobs, and people will have to take their blinders off.
Yeah, well, that's because it's hitting your industry now. So that if it doesn't affect you in your industry, it's very easy to sit back and make, they need jobs, let them work. You want to help everybody, but it didn't affect them yet. But it's affecting you.
You can't help everybody. In the perfect world, you can help everybody, but you have to help yourself first. And you know what? It started out, a little thing that I say to people is this, you know what? A long time ago, they said illegal immigrants would come and they helped the farmers pick their fields, and then they went home.
Right.
That's how it started, because nobody wanted to go out in the field and pick whatever fruit or whatever it is.
Oh, you know what, Phil? You're right, because they used to say, what'd they do? They walked over the border, right? They had like a pass, and then they would walk back. Is that how they came through, like the port of entry? Is that how it worked? Because I think I remember that.
The farming industry, especially by Mexico and Texas, they were allowed to come and help the farmers for cheap labor to get their crops in a time period that was good, and then they went home. And everybody didn't think nothing of it because it doesn't pertain to them. And then they became dishwashers, and everybody said, "Well, nobody wants to be a dishwasher. That's why they're doing those jobs." And then they became busboys, and then everybody keeps on putting the blinders on. Then from busboys, it became, you know what? They're doing landscaping. Nobody wants to do landscaping work. Now they're doing landscaping. Well, guess what? Now they have just taken over the construction trade. Okay, so what the problem with people are today is everybody has their blinders on and thinking, well, it's okay. It's not affecting me. But you know what? Next thing you know, when it affects you, when you go to your office and your big office building on the 34th floor and your boss tells you, sorry, we can't, we don't have enough work for you, and you're replaced by somebody who doesn't even speak the language, then all of a sudden you're going to wake up and say, what the hell is going on? But at that time, it's too late.
Well,
people have to take the blinders off.
Right. I just want to make a point, too, because I did bring up to Donna that I went into a local Walmart by me, and there had to be 3 cashiers, and every one of them did not speak English. And I'm thinking, how did they get this job? They're working in Walmart, and we can't communicate. I needed to ask her a question. She was having a problem with the register at the time, and somebody had to come over that could speak Spanish. And I'm just sitting there thinking, how did she even get this job? So is this what's going to be everywhere? And one other thing I wanted to point out, my neighbor told me that she's going to have surgery, I think next month. Do you know that she screwed up 3 times? The woman does not speak English. And now my friend is all nervous saying, I'm so nervous. Like, I don't know if she's taking she's getting major surgery.
Right information. Right?
So
sure.
now you're talking about, now look at those jobs. So now you're saying like it doesn't affect this people. But what's going to happen is eventually it's going to affect you. It may not affect you going to work every day, but it might affect you that you walk into a store one day or you walk into a place you have to order something, nobody speaks English, and now look, she's setting up surgery and getting all nervous that this woman she wasn't sure that she made herself clear, so she now had to call back. She wanted to speak to human resource. That's terrible, and here it is that she's just setting up for major surgery. That's scary.
Well, in Miami, forget about it. There is no place that you can speak English. Okay, but then it came to Broward County, and I mean, right down the block, around, a couple miles away, we went to get a sandwich, and the person didn't speak English. We had to get somebody. I couldn't order a ham and cheese sandwich at a supermarket deli because the person didn't speak English. I mean, what is this country coming to? I mean, if you can't speak English, you shouldn't be allowed to be in this country. We make it too easy. I always said when I lived in New York, the first time they had those Spanish signs on the subway, it would say the Brooklyn and Bronx, and it would say it in Spanish, directions. I said the first time someone who's Spanish winds up in Brooklyn when they were supposed to be in the Bronx, you'll see how fast they learned to speak English when it was a 4-hour trip the other direction that they made a mistake. We make it too easy for everybody.
Right. And what happens is it affects, English is the number one language. This is it. This is the first language in the United States of America. And a lot of people are saying English is going to end up being the second language in America.
It's nice to learn a second language. It's nice to, just like, people say, oh, you're racist talking about, I have people here in Florida, our friends, they come from Mexico, they speak like a broken English, they speak English. They're great, love them. All right, they're great people. I mean, it's not about you have to speak perfect English, and it's nice to tell your kids about your heritage or where you came from, whether it be Mexico, Italy, France, German, and keep your heritage alive in your family. But when you come to America, this is your country now. Okay, now you're an American, and your other country is your culture that you left behind. And that's how it is. You don't come to our country and try to put your ways of your country that failed and try to make it your country. You come to America, you take American values. You do what Americans do. Just like if I wanted to move to some other country, I would need to respect their way of life and assimilate into what they do. And you come to America, you assimilate to what we do.
Of course. If you went to go move right now anywhere in South America, do you think that you're going to survive just speaking English? You're not.
No, not at all. And that's a big difference. The people who came here, the immigrants who came here, who waited online, who took years to come here, who came here for all the right reasons and really had to work at coming here, they don't feel that way. They're Americans. They love their language, they love their native land, they love their culture that they pass on to their children. That's all great. But they came here for all the right reasons. Okay? And they came here, and this is their country now. Okay? It's not like that anymore. Now everybody they bring their country here, they take over areas. There's not even an English sign up. It's absolutely insane. And people better wise up because we're losing our country. If it's not too late already, we're losing our country, and everybody has those blinders on until it affects you. But when it affects you, it's too late. Then it's gone.
I know. So, listen, because I don't want the conversation for anyone to think about us that we're being racist or judgmental. It's not about, because I have family too that came here from Spain. And they assimilated exactly what you're saying into the American culture. And I was told about where my ancestors grew up, my great-grandpa, I don't know why I said great-grandpa, my grandpa. So I know about my culture and everything, but we all spoke English. My grandpa spoke broken English, and he was a proud man that he came here to America. And I don't know where that got lost, because it is the way it was.
Well, it got lost because people came here, okay? People came here for a better way of life, to work hard for a better way of life. They knew that. They came into this country. It took them a while to get in. And they were proud that they got in, and they worked hard to make something of themselves. Now we advertise to the world that you get free health care, free food from the government, free housing, and we're publicly announcing to the world, come here, it's easy. So why not come here? I blame them. They should be staying home in their country and fighting for their country as much as they want to fight to come across here and make their country better. But you know what? I blame the United States is the greater to blame, because we're doing it to ourselves. The Democrats do it for their base, because they're losing their base over the years, and we're responsible. And our government, or part of our government, I should say, is turning them back to the American people and making it. You can't advertise to come here for free. What were the people who live in these countries that don't have anything? I'm like, what the hell? We might as well go there. We got free food, free health care, free housing. What do I got to lose? Where I am right now, I don't have any of that.
And what about sanctuary states and sanctuary cities? So if you do come here illegal and break the law, don't worry, you could stay in the state. And then who pays for these people?
Yeah, I mean, the original immigrants, whether they're German, Irish, Italian, it doesn't matter who they were. They came here and they were proud to come here because they were going to work hard to get ahead in this country and not for a freebie. Right. They were here to work. Now people are coming here because they want to find work, but we advertise that everything is free. So we're doing it. I blame the government more than I blame the people. I mean, I blame the people. They should be staying in our country and fight for their freedom, elect different officials, get businesses there so they can build up their country instead of fleeing it and just leaving their country.
Yeah, but see, you're missing the main point. Why would you stay in your own country and have to fight for all these things when you can just walk into another country illegally, be protected in sanctuary states or cities? You're going to get school, housing, medical, and this is all free. So,
you're right.
Of course they're going to. Think about it. You would make that choice. You would make that choice too.
That's why I blame the government more than I blame the people. I mean, they should be. If we made it tough, they'd sit back and fight it out in their own country. They made it so easy. That goes back to my analogy of the subway. They made it so easy for them to go to the Bronx and Brooklyn. If anybody took the subway, if you wound up in Brooklyn and you wanted to go to Bronx, that is like probably a 4-hour mistake on a subway. So it's just like we make things too easy for them, and it's kind of sickening. It really is what this country has come to. And I blame the media. The media is dividing this country, okay, because all their lies. It's just it's a pivotal point in America. If we have any kind of America left, this is it. After this, I don't even know if it'll be called America. They'll probably change the name.
You know what? You said it first, because I wouldn't be shocked. Look at that. That just came right out of your mouth. You're right.
Yeah. That's right. This is pivotal.
That's scary.
This is it. This is scary. This is it. This is the last stand. And the Democrats. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say all Democrats. Hopefully, some people who are intelligent and can think for themselves will realize that the liberal Democrats are ruining this country, and we're at a point right now that I don't even know if we can get out of it.
Well, do you know what? Because we keep saying, like, people will have an opinion, or if they go by their own experiences and what's happening in their life. So you're right. It's very easy to be in a bubble and say, oh, yeah, we should help this person. It's not about, like, helping. We are overloaded. So who is going to pay for all of this? The schooling, the health, when they say free. So all the American people that work so hard, whether your kid got a student loan, because it's going to affect these next generations. It's just not just going to affect us. So you might have put your kid through, right, so you might have put your kid through college. My kids have student loans. And your kid worked, they're paying their student loans. Who is going to pay for all these people? They can all yell out free every day, free.
Well, in California, if you're an illegal immigrant, you get free education,
right?
Free college. You talk about discrimination, it's reverse discrimination. The immigrants, the illegal immigrants coming into this country right now have more rights than an American does.
I know, that's scary.
And that is scary, but it is the truth. Because if you notice the Democratic Party, they don't talk about anything about the Americans. It's all about illegals and what we should do. And I asked people, I asked somebody the other day, I said, well, we were having a conversation, good friends of ours were hanging out, and they're like, well, people are fleeing their country. So like we say, well, why don't they stay and fight? I said, what's the number? I said, give me a number. Should we let 10,000 people in? Should we let 100,000 people in? Should it be 1 million? 5 million? 100 million? 3 billion? Give me a number, or do we just let the whole world, anytime they have a problem, come into our country? How can we sustain that? It's an impossibility. It's strictly mathematical numbers. You cannot afford. It's like everything affects everything. These people come in. They go to schools. They put 5, 6 people in a house. They go to. You got 300 houses that support 300 houses that support a school, but there's 400 families in those houses. So the schools get affected, and then that property goes up. They got their health care. They go to these hospitals because they can't afford health care, and they go to emergency rooms, which they're not denied. They can't be denied health care. Who pays for that? There is nothing free in this world. How about the food supply? Is there enough food that we could produce for if the whole world moves to the United States? What is every place in the other world going to have like 25 people in each country, and we'll take the whole world over and everybody be in the United States? Because that's what happens if you just let anybody come in with any amount of numbers, and you don't give the country the time to assimilate with these people and grow slowly. They're taking down the country.
Right, that's a good point. See what you're saying? Because it's like if you're overflowed, yes, it's if somebody is helping. If America says, okay, we're going to take 100,000 people, and that's what America made that decision, the President of the United States said, we're going to let these people in, and exactly what you said, it gives everybody time to assimilate. Teachers are ready, schools are ready, hospitals are ready, medical's ready, but right now we're being overflowed, and nobody seems to be talking about it. And how this is going to affect the American people, because the money has to come somewhere. And when I think when a lot of people will open their eyes, when they start seeing that their checks are less. Because the government is not paying for this. They're taking the money from us. However you want to slice it, it's going to come out of regular American people that are working when their paychecks start getting smaller.
That's exactly right. Everybody, all the liberals who said they want everything free, their brains is on the wrong switches. They're being brainwashed by colleges, which is another problem. Okay, but their brain being brainwashed, and I don't know if they're stupid or they're not being taught, but this is not a real complicated problem. When there is nothing free in this world but the air you breathe right now. You pay for water, you pay for your sewer bill, you pay for everything. There is nothing free. So when they say free education and free health care, they think the government is just going to be printing money. Well, if you print too much money, then you get deflation. Inflation rather, and deflates the American dollar, and then the prices of goods go up. So nothing at all is free. And I want to bring out a point. When people come to this country, everybody doesn't realize, getting back to the jobs, is that when people come from Mexico, they were making $5 an hour or whatever they were making, and they come to this country, and they are now making $15 an hour, just using numbers. They stepped up their standard of living. They are happy people. They are just making so much more money than they were accustomed to making in the country. But that same job used to pay $40 to an American. So now the American standard of living is going down, is being watered down by these influx of people who are very happy to be making less money because it's a tremendous pay raise for them what they're accustomed to using. So,
right, so of course that's going to hurt the American worker. It's as simple as that. They're going to take over jobs here, of course.
The only people, what that's going to do is going to the middle class, which once again always paid the taxes, is being watered down. So the difference between you had people less fortunate, you had the middle class, you had the rich. Now instead of like 3 divisions, there's going to be 2. You're either going to be rich or you're going to be poor, because the people who come from other countries are taking good paying jobs from a middle class America. They're not walking into a C of O position. So that's why these people in Hollywood and these rich and famous people don't feel the pain. They don't feel anything. Why? Because it's not going to affect them. Right. It's not going to affect them at all. Because no one walks into a job, making $500,000, $1 million a year, walking over the border. But you come over here, you pick up a hammer, or you can start building a house or whatever it is. You take these jobs away from the middle American, hardworking, the backbone of this country is being watered down.
Right, because it's not going to affect, if somebody is less fortunate and they are living off the government, because you do have people that they find themselves in situations and they can't get out of it and they do need help. And then you have people that get comfortable and they're living off the government. So none of this affects them, because as long as they're getting their check every month, their health insurance is being paid, they're okay. It doesn't affect them. They're good. It's not going to affect, like you said, the wealthy in the country, because they're still doing what they're doing, and nobody's going for their jobs. But it's going to affect blue-collar workers.
I mean, Social Security, you can get into a million topics, and I don't want, but Social Security was never designed for people to stay on forever. Social Security was a catch, basically, to catch you when you had a problem, to get you back on your feet. Social Security was never meant to be on for you. Social Security, welfare, not Social Security, welfare. Welfare was designed to just get you back on your feet. Now you got people coming here to live on it.
Right. And it's going to, something's going to get hurt somewhere along the line when you constantly keep giving and giving. So if you're doing it for your own country, it does become like a cycle. You're always going to have people that fall on hard times, and you hope that they get themselves out of it, they find a job, because that pretty much is the American way to live. We all just work hard, we want to raise our kids, we want them to be happy, healthy, and you hope that you pass that same work ethic, work hard, you get a house one day, a family, and it just becomes a cycle, right? But that's what people are just not seeing. But if you are being overrun by millions of people from other countries, and we're just trying to figure out here, like you said, what's the number? Where do you draw the line to try to just let America recoup? Because where is this money coming from? Nobody's talking about that. Do you notice that? Nobody talks about that.
Nobody's talking about it because they think they can just print money.
It doesn't work that way, Phil. Doesn't work that way.
It's insane. Everything is insane, and I'm actually quite angry. I'm calm right now. But I'm quite angry. It's like sometimes I wish I didn't move to Florida. It's like I want to move away because I'm tired of seeing it. It's in my face every single day. I live it every day. These people are trying to talk to me. I'm trying to get my point across. I'm not in America anymore. How bad is that when you feel like a foreigner in your own country? That is the ultimate slap in the face. The ultimate slap in the face. And everybody who doesn't think that's happening to them, it will. It will. It's just a matter of time.
Yes, and we're going to come to an end with this, but it just goes to show that, because everybody thought, we're going to leave New York or we're going to leave here because taxes. It doesn't matter what state that you move to. Now look what you're saying that you're facing in Florida. And so you can't run from this. You're going to have to deal with this somehow, some way. This will affect everybody. And maybe, I don't know when people are going to open their eyes. I really don't.
You said it before. Unfortunately, all people need to do is take their blinders off and start thinking. That's it. It's not that hard. Take the blinders off and stop thinking that you're okay and start thinking. Because when you realize you take the blinders off and that your job could be affected, and that's when you're going to get pissed off. Or when all of a sudden you look at your check and now instead of in 30% tax bracket, they've made you go into a 60% tax bracket because you're paying for everybody else that's not doing anything. for free. There's nothing free. You can't have anything for free. And what will happen to people like before, the middle class people, the people who work hard for a living, are the ones that are going to pay for it.
Right. All right. Well, Phil, I appreciate that you came on and explained the situation as far as what your experience is, like you said, going to work every day. I really appreciate that, and you made a lot of good points, and I hope that a lot of people listen to this.
Well, thank you for having me on your show, and I'd love to come back with a follow-up.
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, so we just followed up with Phil. I thought it was important for him to come on and just really talk about his experience. It opened my eyes because I don't have his experience. I'm not living his life and doing what his job is, but he really made a great point. And I think that probably goes across with everything. But with this situation with immigration, illegal immigration, if it's affecting you personally, then you'll see what he's seeing. And I bet you there's a lot of other workers out there that are feeling what he's feeling right now. So I just hope this opened up a lot of people's eyes, because it's always good to hear somebody else's perspective and what they're living and his truth and what's happening with him. And I would absolutely welcome if somebody has a different experience. That's fine, because that's what this is called. Real people, real conversations. And we're just going to take it one conversation at a time. All right. Good night. And I will talk to you guys soon.